Guys, looking back on this video, I realized how unserious a human being I look because I'm wearing an extra giant t-shirt and eating ice cream. But bear in mind that by the time I was filming this video, I was 9 months pregnant, and I went into labor right as I finished, like in the middle of this video actually. So please bear that in mind and then enjoy the rest of the video. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, hi, my name is Bella. I am a life and style blogger for love-TheBrownieTube.com. Make sure you check out my blog. I'm an Instagrammer. Love social media in general. How you doing? Today, I want to be talking about literally the most popular thing I feel to talk about ever in life, which is love. You would think that with how much we talk about love, with how much movies like propel love and stuff like that, that we would be tired of hearing about love, but obviously not. Unfortunately, we live in a day and age where 9 out of 10 times when we're talking about love is romantic love. I think it's just something we have to accept, that we are constantly on a search for somebody that we feel completes us. So it's only natural that is what a lot of books will be based on. That's what a lot of movies will be based on. There's this whole idea of what it is that society thinks that love should look like. And unfortunately, as well, 9 out of 10 times, that is literally the opposite of what love actually looks like. One of the people that I found myself in love with, I never actually dated. But when everything that went down with the person ended, I realized how invested I was. And for me, for somebody like me, it also is determined by how long it takes me to kind of move past the situation, or if it's even possible for me to move past the situation. I'm very good at moving on. If you've been on my channel long enough, like if you followed my journey on YouTube from like the Brownie Diaries type time, you'd have seen me in at least, maybe without really knowing, but you probably interacted with me in at least 2 relationships. And the thing about me is that once I move on, most of the time I just move on. But there are certain situations that it has not been as easy for me to move on from. And that's how like I can really confirm that I was in love with that person. I feel like most people, I've grown up in an environment where love is oftentimes, or more times than not, equated to relationships and romance and like boy girl, or now like girl girl, boy boy, whatever. But somebody that is outside your family that you're attracted to. And I know how many movies I've watched where amazing things happen and everybody lives happily ever after, and I know that has always been my idea of what true love is. And it's so unfortunate because it's not completely opposite from what the Bible tells us that love is, but at the same time it's so different from what love is supposed to be and what love is in the real world. We're constantly searching for that movie. We're constantly searching for a particular spark or something that we just feel is going to change the way that we look at life. I had my first ever boyfriend when I was 17. My dad actually told me that I wasn't allowed to date till I was 18, but unfortunately he wasn't alive by that point in time when I was 18, so I took advantage of that. But I've always felt like I knew exactly what I wanted. I've always gone for people or accepted people based on that spark, that chemistry, that electricity that oftentimes fades. The longest relationship that I had been in at a certain point in time was actually like a year, and for me a year was a big deal. Obviously, as I grew older, relationships lasted longer, but there was that point in time, and I remember always looking for some kind of excitement. For me, the end of a relationship was the point in time where I was no longer excited by what the person was doing. And it took me a while to realize that I was chasing after the wrong thing, and also the wrong type of person, but more importantly, the wrong feeling. And it also took me a while to realize that love is actually not enough. You hear that all the time. And sometimes it just feels like such a cliche thing to say, love is not enough. It almost seems like a cop out, to be honest, when you think about it deeply. But the truth of the matter is that love is not enough. If it is enough for you to love somebody, then you don't feel the need to possess them. You don't feel the need to be with them forever. You can just love them and then keep on living your life. But for a lot of us, when we love people, we want to be with them whatever. At least for as long as we love them. And in order to establish any kind of decent relationship, you're going to need a little more than just the romance. And that is why a lot of us fail, because we start out relationships based on purely the romantic part of it. Nobody really thinks about compatibility. And as much as we all say, oh yeah, you should be friends with somebody, a lot of people don't don't actually become friends with the people that they date before they date them. Why? Because unfortunately for you, once you like somebody, it's hard for you to be their friend. So it's almost a thing where you're set up to fail from the beginning, because you claim that you want certain things. By the time the attraction comes in, you almost forget all the things that were on your list. I found that, like, in one of my relationships in particular, I had my list of the things that I always knew that I wanted. And it took me so long. Like, I came up with that list in therapy. So it took me a long time to, like, sit down and really decipher the kind of relationships and interactions that were good for me. And it was a situation where, as soon as I met somebody that I just felt was like the sweetest person and could just treat me better than another person that treated me, I forgot about the list. The list no longer mattered. As cynical as it all sounds, I feel like when you love, you have to love with a purpose. I think it's cute when people tell you, oh, they love somebody, they don't know the reasons and stuff like that. Oh my god, that is extremely adorable, so cute. But for me, love is a choice and love is intentional. Let's try and break that down. You can be attracted to somebody. It doesn't necessarily mean sexually. There are different ways that you can be attracted to somebody. You can have the attraction to somebody that leads you to pursue and then suddenly or gradually fall in love. But love, maintaining love and sustaining love is an everyday choice. You literally have to wake up and be like, this person friggin' pissed me off. Like, today I'm just not in the mood. But guess what? I have chosen to love this person, and so I'm still going to love this person. That is one thing that a lot of us cannot wrap our heads around. We cannot wrap our heads around the fact that there will be times when we wake up and the person that we claim to be in love with, we don't feel that way about them. It's until you get to a certain age, which is why I feel like a lot of our parents like encourage us not to date too early or whatever. It's until you get to a certain age that you realize the ramifications of being in love with a human being. Like, initially when you're younger, you take it so lightly and it's just like, oh, my boyfriend, I love you so much, can't wait to get married together forever. But when you get older and you realize what is really at stake when you love somebody, the things that you have to give up when you love somebody, no matter how you want to hack it, you find yourself making certain compromises. They are not damaging to you, but at the same time, they are different from things that you would ordinarily have done. For me, what made me realize when I was in love was the fact that I was willing to be submissive. And if you know me and you know my personality, you know that my personality is not submissive. I've just never felt the need. I am a challenge accepted type of girlfriend. Like, don't feel like you can tell me what to do. Don't feel like you can come in here and give me demands. If you act up, I'll probably act up 5 times more. I can comfortably stay 5 hours without talking to you. Doesn't mean I don't care about you. Doesn't mean I won't miss you. But my pride would always get in the way. And the way that I realized that I was in love was because those things were not as apparent. Now, these are character flaws in me. These things are my problem. But you realize that when you are actually in love with somebody and you've chosen to be in love with them and you're living intentionally trying to give them the best of yourself, that a lot of your character flaws, you will do your best to make sure that they don't affect the other person. Doesn't mean changing for the person, but at the same time, there's nothing wrong with somebody encouraging you to be a better person, to be completely honest. I'm not a fan of like changing for a human being, but at the same time, I think it's very magical if somebody can make you change. If that makes any sense. I don't know if it makes any sense. In my mind, it makes sense. So, for me, love has stopped being about the excitement of things or the thrill of things. Love has started being more about being with somebody that complements me. I'm not on the search for somebody that completes me because I feel like I'm a complete person and I can live without anybody. But it now comes to question, when you have now filled yourself up, who do you want to be with and who do you want to depend on? So it's not like if you don't depend on this person you will die, but at the same time you've chosen by yourself to depend on this person. There's no part of the Bible that says half a person and half a person will join to make one person. It literally says one person and one person will join to make one person. So for me, you cannot truly love somebody to the fullest of your capabilities until you are a complete person. If you are not a complete person and you attempt to fall in love with somebody, you are only going to hurt them because you will constantly be looking for things that you should find in yourself and things that you should find in God in that person, and that is so much pressure. That puts such a strain on your relationship. If you are not a complete person, if you cannot be by yourself, you should not be in a relationship. If you're constantly looking for somebody to complete you and somebody to do certain things for you, not as always would be nice, but like you need somebody to just be there, you are not ready to be in love because love is self-sacrificing. Love is a lot of work. Love is doing so much for somebody and actually not expecting anything in return. Being willing to pour every single thing that you have into another human being without getting anything in return.
So, guys, at this point in time, my battery died, and then is when I got up that I went into labor, so I couldn't finish this video. But I hope you get the general gist of it. If you want a part two or a continuation, be sure to comment below. And thank you guys so much for all the comments on my last video. I don't even know where to start responding to them from, so I just had to respond to them in this particular video. God will bless you guys so much. I really appreciate you watching and I appreciate you commenting and congratulating me. Zoe and I are doing very well. She's 1 month old now by the time this video is out and she's extra chunky. Oh my gosh. I can't wait for you guys to meet her.